Excellent. All right, so I am here and streaming once again, trying to keep up to date with my my schedule. I've got a, I guess just one thing I'm gonna working on. I'm actually moving off working on the action stuff for a bit, and gonna start really working around just making sure that the mutual fund, the stream itself, is this in the right position for having guests, and also for people just to coordinate and collaborate as well, because I think I'm not really at the point where people really know what's going on. So which is why I'm going to be working on this, and let me see if I can transition. Here we go. Yeah, so yeah, also working on transitions and where I'm at. Just checking my levels, making sure, seeing my mic on, so I think we're good there. Still haven't checked out to see how to get these hotkeys to align my window properly, but we'll roll with this. And yep, sweet. All right, so on Friday, I actually had a chat with, let's see if I can get this up. let's see, the YouTube channel. Cool. And so I had a chat with this guy right here. Yeah, so Daniel actually came on and chatted with me to discuss OneBlog. And OneBlog is it's a thing that OneGraph is actually working on. And it's still like in its earliest, I guess, inception. But I went ahead and chatted with him about that. It was my first time, well, actually my second time having a guest on the chat. So I did have a ton of technical difficulties. If you do watch that video, you'll find my audio is actually doubled up. I did go ahead and fix that, which you can hear. You only hear me once, which is, yeah, obviously preferred. And I am, this song actually sounds kind of like Explosions in the Sky. Yeah, hopefully it's not, or else I'll get marked for deletion on Twitch or YouTube. All right, so what I'm looking to do is Mutualfunlive. It's the org that I'm obviously been trying to shill and get people to check out for a bit. Every time I do a stream, I'm trying to get in the habit of creating a schedule that I'll post, so you can see there's a scheduled for this stream right here, and then I've got a stream on Wednesday, which I don't remember the date too, so, or sorry, the time, 8:15. For whatever reason, that's an early stream, and that's what throws me off. It's not the same time. I should probably make that. I think there's something overlapping, which is why I don't have that on my schedule. So this will be 8:30 a.m. and should get in the habit of saying UTC -7 or PT. But yeah, basically West Coast time. Yeah, and I'm just gonna be this week. I'm just gonna really focus on this low level, making sure everything on mutualfun.io and .live now. It's another URL that I own now. Going to, yeah, focus on making that work. So, excellent. Yeah, sorry, just listen to my headphones. Getting just one channel at the moment, which is these headphones are quite old. All right, so OneBlog. OneBlog it's a pretty sweet tool, and this tool itself, it does something super interesting where you could take your issues and make them blog posts. So that's really what I'm getting at, and that's what I want to do, because all my issues for the scheduled stream, they're just straight up issues, and I should be able to just relay those directly to like a website. So I only have to update one thing. I don't actually need to change anything else. That's the plan, and that's what this looks like. So if you can see, I've got for the Friday stream, I've got this posted as a blog. A couple things I want to do is I probably need to update the template and how it's actually presented, because I think it's not really conducive to like being on a website. It's only this markdown content. For example, like this checkbox, I can't actually check, so I should probably just take this off eventually. Also, speaking of which, I did not do the checklist for this stream. Yeah, let me check that real quick. Just making sure my tweets were out and everything's kosher there. I imagine it's all good, but yeah, just making sure that I'm staying consistent. All right, yeah. No, actually, it did not go out, which probably is why no one is seeing anything. Give me one sec. Just want to double check that I'm not seeing the wrong thing. Oh yeah, it went out. I'm not sure why my iPad's not updating. That's interesting. But yeah, it seems to be all fine and dandy too. Let's see here. Yeah, we're all good. Excellent. All right, yeah. So I can check that box. and then shut off notifications too as well, which are already turned off. All right, cool. Yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do now is first things first, I want to actually change the name of this super cool blog to Mutualfunlive, mainly because that's where the URL is going to go. I'm also going to update this URL to Mutualfunlive as well, and then figure out a good way to. Actually, I should probably just publish the rest of the posts that are up there, and then I'll figure out how to update the template. And if I get to it, I'm hoping to do this in an hour. Perhaps look in to see how the CSS works too as well. Because I didn't get a good job, do a good job on Friday. Really, well, I didn't really have time to sort of dig deep into the code with Daniel. So I think I'll just take a tour myself. Excellent. The first thing is I need to figure out how to change super cool blog. That is great and all, but it's not what I was looking for. So let me just see if it's easy enough that I can change it in config. So the site itself is a Razzle site, or it's built on the Razzle template, I guess. And yeah, so server-side rendered universal JavaScript applications with no configuration. That's a mouthful, but what Razzle does, this gives you a lot of things that you like in Next.js without opting into a framework. So I assume Razzle is not a framework. I've actually not built anything on Razzle. I had one interaction with the project on Razzle, and yeah, I don't really have any feedback for it because I only touched it like once. Actually, I reviewed some PRs on a Razzle project, and that's the extent of my interaction with Razzle. So yeah, that's all I can go ahead and say about it. It looks like Razzle also works not just with React, but it also works with these other, well, works with Vue and Elm, and then also you can leverage TypeScript and MDX as well. So it might be worth actually chatting and talking through that in the future. Yeah, so, but what I was getting at is super cool blog is not what I want this to be called, super cool blog. I think what's happening here is the title is actually shoved into environment variable. So what I'll do, because the way it works is that since by default, or the process that I opted into was actually deploying it to Netlify, I'm gonna look for my adoring Bassy thing, and a couple things I'm gonna do is actually change my site name too as well. So actually, I don't know if that's gonna break anything yet. So before I change that, I just want to change my environment variables, and if you don't mind, I'll do that off screen because I'm not confident that these are not exposed, and they are exposed. So yep, so exactly what I thought. I'm gonna go ahead and change this name to Mutualfunlive schedule. Yeah, I wonder if the so I went ahead and updated the template variable, or sorry, the not the template variable, the environment variable on Netlify. Did that in the deploy section. That was good timing. All right, go ahead and trigger a new deploy, and then from there, hopefully the site itself will actually just update. Also going to call out too as well. Did not mean to do that. Cool. So in this section here, I am going to, oh, the only way that, I guess the only thing I need to do actually here is just add the publish flag. So the way it works is that anything that you write as a GitHub issue will actually appear. Anything that's like marked with published. Yeah, it's published. That's the only one I have. Mark with published actually will then show on here. And the way this was working is it's actually leveraging the Netlify build and Netlify functions to present this. So already you can see once I had that flag, it pulled that in. Prior to that, I only had this version, which is super cool. So I can already see like the template itself, it's going to be pretty useless. Well, I guess I updated the template here. So I have a title here, but I called it schedule stream. So I probably should, this is redundant. I'm not a big fan of the time and date directly in this. You know, I also realized I didn't say it was time for mutual fund. I'm trying to play around with actually having bumpers on this. So I do have a soundboard that I'm on the fence if I should actually use this or not. But let me stop the music and see if this works. Yeah, so that was me and my son were playing with Mario. So yeah, that was the, I'll have to go back and see how loud that was. But yeah, that's the soundboard I'm working with to add intro and outro music. Not sure if that is necessary, but it was like something that me and my son spent our spring break on. I was also off last week. I think I mentioned that last week. I did miss a stream last Monday due to internet problems, bandwidth issues. All right, so I think that's about it. I was stalling because I wanted to see if, yeah, there we go. Mutualfunlive, got that working. I can create a new post. I'm curious if I open this in Canary. I'm wondering who. That okay. So can I create a new post? No, I could sign out. So that's cool. So you could actually check to see, I was checking to see in my other account if I can create a post. So I think the way it works is you have to be part of the org to actually write and add flags, or sorry, labels. So just went on a little tangent there. All right, I'm back. All right, so the other thing I want to do is actually update this URL because I want to start actually talking about this itself. And then I'll dig into some code and seeing, actually I'll dig into the template because you can even see this template, even the 1, 2, and 3. It's not really a pleasing aesthetically to the eyes. All right, so I'm gonna go into my hover. Actually, I think the way it works with Netlify, it should just be as easy as adding a custom domain. And then the hope is actually I'll take everything that's on mutualfun.io and migrate it to Mutualfunlive, because at the moment that's not really doing anything for me. So let's see, custom domain management. All right. Let's see. Verifying the domain. I think it's as easy as I can start verifying it and then yes. All right. Set up Netlify DNS. Yeah. I remember this is like one of the last things I was involved with before I left Netlify, so I forget how this works. It's actually been a while since I set up a domain on the site. DNS records for Netlify sites will configure it all automatically. Yeah, and it should give me those things, right? Yeah, so this is what I want. Yeah, so DNS is like, in my experience with using it in Netlify, because we worked on this like pretty heavily, this experience, and I say we because I used to actually be there. It's usually a pain, but when I followed this path, it has always been great to me. I just forget where in, oh, here we go, name service. Where in Hover, because I'm using Hover, do I actually set this up? And it's here. Yeah, also I don't think DNS, is it sensitive information? I guess I'll find out later. Someone will tell me, hey, you probably shouldn't have posted that on your live stream. Did this, yep, it inferred, yep. All right, cool. How do I know if it's working? Excellent. Yeah, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 07. Yep. All right, and then the way this works is actually Netlify's using its own product to poll. So I think there's like a function that does this, that polls to see if the DNS is working. Yep, so Mutualfunlive and www.mutualfun.live should be up soonish. I'm the owner. That should be good. I don't know. All right. Mutualfun.live. It's totally awesome being worked on. All right. So I maybe give that some time. For now, I'll just be working on external. Oh, IPv6. Yeah, I'm just gonna double check to make sure I didn't miss any steps too as well. If I add name servers. I don't think I need to delete any other records because it should just circumvent my other records and go directly to the name service. But yeah, so I'll trust that that's working in the background. Sweet. And then now I'm gonna spend some time, just gonna put it here just so I can refresh later. All right, so what are a couple other things I wanted to work on? So I got this up. I'm gonna get that URL working, hopefully, eventually. And then there's a lot of context that I don't think I really need included. As far like, so if this is gonna be public information, I'm gonna tweet this out. Check out, this version of stream. I think the way I want this to work is that I want the URL just to be some sort of context. I think what I'm going to do is like number these streams. So like if this was my 4th stream, like this should be like episode 4, and then I'll just count up. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. These will be numbered. And then instead of naming these the date and time, instead I'll have the date and time actually in the, yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be very riveting. I don't know if any of this is going to be riveting streaming information, but if you do have feedback on this, the cool thing is that you can go into Mutualfunlive / whatever the post is, and you could actually leave comments here, which will then be reported directly into the GitHub issue. So if I'm like, hey, you are great. And I didn't really explain this either too as well. So I just said to myself that I'm great. And if I go back to this issue, you can see that I've already posted via my Mutualfun app. And this is something that we set up on Friday, if you want to see how that works on the prior stream. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's awesome too, that it actually marks it. If anybody knows of designer people, I'm looking to probably contract to get better branding assets for Mutualfun. Mutualfun is, though I'm doing this on work time. Oops, looks like this is broken. Oh, it's refreshing. Okay. Doing this on work time, but it's helping support my work and my work as in DevRel at GitHub, especially while we're refocusing away from like in-person events and focusing our efforts into engaging the community remotely again. Well, not again. We were always doing that, but basically 100% now at this point. So my hope is to continue doing this like down the road, but just leveraging this platform to have a place to hopefully build community and hopefully work on some interesting code things. So, but until I get to the interesting part, I'm going to be doing some, menial things, which is managing GitHub repos. So what I was getting at, if you have feedback, write a comment. That works. So what I'm going to do is probably go ahead and update this template because I'm not a big fan of the way it presents itself on the page. Let's see here. Nope, still not working. How do we know if should be checking to see if the DNS records are working. But no, registered externally, registered. Yeah, so I registered all these externally. I'm just gonna check real quick if I deleted the other records, and that's the way it worked. So let's see. No, I just left them alone. Okay. Yeah, so I guess it'll just work on its own when it decides to. All right, DNS. Okay. So actually, I'm gonna keep Jared's repo open just in case I have to refer to that. So yeah, just to get this presentable, I'm gonna update this template, and the way I'm gonna do this is pull it over here. I'm gonna look at it off screen, and then first things first is I'm probably just gonna head and when the checklist is complete, probably just go ahead and delete that because that's not needed. I'm also going to label this. So based on the stream, the issues, actually what I'll just do is I'll actually call these streams issues and I'll just base it on the issue number, which might be redundant keeping the issue number in the title, but that way I don't have to think about how many of these I've done. So so this issue is 9. Issue number 9. All right. And then all this context I will put here. And then don't want to do a pipe because I don't think I can actually present that, and not sure how that works when I justify this in URL form. Now I'm struggling on naming at this point. Let's see. I'm definitely going with the we'll see how that works. All right. And I will stick with this format. Issue is probably redundant. Yeah, I think that will show up pretty nice. And we'll give that a quick look too as well. Yeah, actually I'm a fan of that. The way it looks is this. This is a super clear title. Now I don't know how this works with the URLs. Sometimes URLs are kind of written in stone. So if I click on this, looks like I'm cached a bit. Oh, it still works. Okay. So 0 to 9, the OneBlog and Mutualfunlive. Excellent. All right, yeah. So I think I'm gonna stick with the topic in the title. The only problem is when I share these, I do want the time to show up. So the first thing I should probably have is the time. Okay. Let's see. What's today's date? The 6th? Excellent. All right, so this I'm gonna kill at yeah. Just gonna add this checklist here. So I have this is a markdown file that context is probably not going to change too often, but it doesn't really need to be in the issue template, or yeah, the issue template. I'm gonna have to figure out how to switch out the context for Mutualfun.io eventually. Maybe that'll be my Wednesday. Try to migrate or create some sort of page. I'll do some. Hopefully, I'll have some time to figure out issue title. That's probably better. Yeah, instead of topic, I'm just gonna grab the issue title. And then I want to add variables and markdown, which is a GitHub action to do that instead. So cool. All right, so this is dead to me. Excellent. This doesn't have to be there. All right, this should be good. Let me see if this previews well. In my experience in podcasting, I tend to write out exactly how to start the podcast, which is why I have intro and outro written right here. So I like having that there, so that way I'm consistent on how to do that. Despite the fact that, despite that I didn't actually do that this time. All right, so I've got a checklist. My checklist itself also needs to be added here. I did not add it, which is fine. I'll add that from the template because they update the template anyway. Sweet. Yeah, Star and Watch repo reminder. I do want the reminder itself to not be at the top. It should actually be at the bottom. And that way it looks a little more presentable. Hopefully I can have like an image template or whatever to add that here. Or some sort of, yeah, default image that I can sort of manipulate for future streams. All right, actually I think that looks so much better. The only thing is, the one other thing I'll probably do instead of do that, I will add the date here. And then that way it all aligns. All right. All right, I think that looks great. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and update my templates, and then I'll move on to take an explorer of like Razzle and how the site actually is built. I do know that one thing I do want to do is, let's check that again, not there. All right, I'll have to debug on why that DNS is not working. I didn't imagine it was going to take longer than like 10 minutes, but it seems to be taking its sweet time. Excellent. So here is the existence of my template. So I have to go back. I won't do that. I'll do that offline, or maybe do it online. Take only a couple seconds. But I'm gonna start marking the issues to be presented live, and then yeah, you can see that. Hopefully there's a way I can yeah, I'm just not a fan of the way this is looking. Yeah, aesthetically I think I might do something about this date, but for now I'm just gonna leave it as is. I'm also curious, you can't actually delete your comment though, but you can create a reaction, which is fine. All right, because this basically, like, the reason I like this, and I was super excited to have Daniel on Friday to talk about OneBlog, is because I was already doing something that could be supported by OneBlog today, which is essentially this yeah, structure my content in this way. I'm also looking at, I'm actually editing the wrong, this is not even today's stream. It's not Monday. This is, wait, this is Monday. So why am I, write some code support. Oh, was I gonna do this? Sorry, I'm like throwing myself off. Let's see, issue 10. Yeah, this is Monday. Sorry, I was throwing myself off because I thought I was gonna do this on Wednesday, but apparently I set aside some time to do that today. So we'll see if we have time to do that. So maybe I won't go into Razzle. I'll save that for Wednesday, but I'll go into this because it won't take too long. Yeah, so I think what I'll do is edit the template to match this. So, sorry, I keep doing a bunch of stuff off screen. It's just easier to have two things open at the same time. And then scheduled stream. Since I have no checklist, I can take that out. But I think I need to make sure that my checklist itself, which is still open here. Yeah, so I got that. Yep. I can delete that. Where am I at? That's a template. Where am I looking for? I think we can kill that. Oh, here we go. Checklist. All right, so did have a checklist for this. I did need to know with guest. All right, so it's my template. I don't need a checklist. I don't need the intro there. I'll pop my reminder down here. Sample tweet, no longer need that. Keep the relevant links, because hopefully that will keep me in line with the should not be BDUG8, should be Mutual Fun. Yep. All right. Yep. I think keep that agenda blank. So, alright. The way I'm doing it here, what did I discuss? Okay. So instead of topic, it should be scheduled stream. And then date time, UTC -7. Keep it that way, because I know I might end up doing a stream in the future that's not... yeah, I'll be doing a stream that's not going to be in this time zone in the future, so I'll just keep that. I want this date to be, I forgot the date format, but I'll update that later when I look into variables and markdown. Just got another, we'll go till 11:30, which is in 30 minutes. See if I can update this template to pipe in a date that looks like this. Yeah, so this is the day, should be day, calendar date, and then time, and then it's always, yeah, I'll just keep that UTC, not UCT. Sweet. All right, so that's the path I'm taking. Again, I don't need the outro, and then my, this should be issue number, colon, topic. Yeah, cool. And I'm doing these underscore things because variables and markdown, I keep talking about this, so I should just show this too as well. This is I guess one of the very first actions I wrote that was actually usable, not just me toying around. But it's a project that I built to basically take, and I'm happy to get feedback on this too as well. Oh, I got a pull request, which is probably dependent by. It's a project that I want to set up issue templates. So I have like in the comments, and I know there's a couple other issues that do this, or other actions that do this. They leverage, well, what this does is I have a little key that will just take the data from the key and then pop that into a variable. So I actually am using mustache templates. So it's been a while since I touched this. So I should probably end up changing this all to mustache anyway. But for now, because this is manual, it's easy for me to copy and paste this instead of doing mustache. But this looks good. All right, so I'm gonna commit that template just to make sure my show notes itself, they in the future will be good to go. And if I don't do this now, I know I'm not gonna do it later. So it's gonna be another thing I'll forget that I talked about and then never did. So here we go. I think what the only other thing is, oh, that's what I wanted to do. This checklist is not the same between having a guest and not having a guest. Mainly because I'm doing a couple extra things to capture audio. The audio from a Friday stream with the guest, it was completely broken because I didn't do a mic check I did a mic check, but I know exactly what I need to do now to make sure that doesn't actually fail on me in the future. Which essentially I just had two of my versions of my audio working. Don't have to do that. Guest check in. Don't need that. Don't need that. And then yeah, so there's a difference. I think these two stream checklists are gonna diverge from each other, which is why I want to have two separate checklists. This is two separate checklisties. I think I got that right. All right. Sweet. And I'll commit that because I'm done with the checklist. And just gonna head in. And for the most part, this is all pretty much the same other than intro, guest, and then one. I think that I'll keep this as is. Let's see here. I already forgot what I had. All right. This is the old one. Well, this is the one I'm working on. What I need to schedule stream. And the way it works is I have the day cal. That's what I'm looking for. And yeah. So. It's a nice baseline. Hopefully that's coming through. All right. Scheduled stream. And then the other thing was the issue number topic structure. I'm gonna pass that in with, yeah, I wanna make sure I note that there is a guest. All right. Yeah, I think this is looking good. All right, so done with template editing, manipulating templates. Let's see here. The only other thing is that I wanted to, I saw not a big issue, but I do want to edit this. Just want to create some space there. All right, move off these templates. And then the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and edit the older issues. Some of these closed issues to match that. So this one's going to be issue number 1. So what was it? 001. Sweet. All right, yeah. Just want to make sure that some of the legacy stream stuff is like legacy stream. I guess I've been doing this 2 weeks, so legacy streaming is like calling that as a stretch. But one thing I forgot to do. You're not actually calling this show notes is what I was looking for. All right. And yeah, for the sake of, I won't stay consistent, I'll actually just make sure the titles are updated, and that's about it. Excellent. And let's just pop these all out. So 002. Don't even know what the. I don't remember if I even had a schedule for that time, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And put a publish on that. All right, I think what I'll do is probably do this off screen because this is probably not really riveting me going through this. What I do want to do is actually look into mutual fund. I was talking mutual fund. What was the other thing? First, I do want to see this. Yeah, so for the most part, you can get this consistency going. I can just see 009 and then go from there. I think in the future, I'll probably have some sort of image that helps distinguish when I have a guest and when I don't. Basically, probably just rip off what Jason's already doing. He has a nice image card for each stream. I'll probably just have something generic for the streams where I'm not doing anything other than working on mutual fund or something on my own. And then I'll have something like a guest image just to help sort of break this up a bit. But for the most part, I'm just going to leverage issue numbers because I am using issues as my backend for this quote unquote blog structure. And yeah, I think it works. All right, so instead of probably punt on doing that. Sweet. All right, so it looks like mutual fund itself is working. The only thing is that it doesn't have HTTPS enabled, but we can see it's working now, so that's awesome. So also the CSS is broken because of that. So it's a quick fix. Because I'm using Netlify, I think I'll just go to sites, Mutualfunlive. You settings. Sorry, I'm gonna take this off because I'm not sure what is on this page and what's not sensitive. All right, build and deploys. Should be under domain. Yeah. So basically, I'm getting that HTTPS error because it looks like it's already enabled. Maybe it's just too new. All right, mutualfun.live. You know, I did not have this URL until last Friday. I thought about getting it for the longest time after I switched over. Yeah, so maybe the SSL is just going to take some time, but for now, at least we know it works and it's live. So this is where the central location of like where I'm going to be sort of focused on scheduling and content. I want to see if I can actually pop this list of the schedule to a like /schedule domain, or sorry, not domain, namespace. It's not even namespace. What am I trying to say? But anyway, I just want to go to mutualfun.live/schedule, and then you'll see this content. And then what I want to do is bring this to the homepage of that as well. And then hopefully I'll get to the point where I can add the chat here as well, and that way people can engage and have all your fun links and stuff like that. I'll probably keep it simple for now until I figure out who wants to help design-wise. So if you are familiar with somebody or know anybody who's got some bandwidth to take on some design work, I'd love to chat with them. It's going to be light level. It's mainly just giving a refresh to the branding and giving me a brand guideline before I start committing code that touches CSS. I need help on the design side because I'm not a designer, and I've made a lot of design mistakes in my life, and enough to know that I don't want to do that again. Which I guess design's not gonna make or break this project. It's just nice to have. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna leverage, hopefully the next 15 minutes, leverage this project, which is a GitHub action, to take variables in Markdown, that's why it's called variables in Markdown, and replace them. And the reason I'm doing this is because, well, let me close this out. So the reason I'm doing this is because I am a big fan of not repeating myself. So I already know. See, I just repeated myself there. So caught myself. That's how much of a fan I am. So if I go back to this template, I saw this happening in my template where I have this topic. Well, before I had the topic as the topic itself is going to be leveraged in the title, but also the topic itself is going to be leveraged here. So what I want to do is have flexibility to take the topic and then rewrite that here after I save the issue. Like I don't want to have to repeat myself doing that. And I think it's going to be the same deal. You know what? Actually, it's not even repeated that much. So I don't know. Maybe I'm over engineering this. Yeah, because I just obliterated my entire template where I had the topic actually repeated over and over again. But at this point, it's only in my tweet. So, but I think it's going to be good practice. The only problem with it is, yeah, I guess it's not even a problem. What I'm going to need to do, and I might not be able to use my current variables in Markdown, or I need to create a new version of it, because right now variables in Markdown, it looks in the variables listed in my comments here. What's my example? So you set the variables by actually adding the comment in your template, but I'm not actually checking the title. So like if I have an issue title, I want to, instead of doing like say hi to your mother, Mark Wahlberg, I want to just grab the title and just put that there. So this should really be, if we were doing this the way I want to do. Yeah, this is the way I'm gonna do it. Yeah, and I'm not gonna get this done on the stream. But luckily I have tests and everything written for that project. So instead, I'm gonna do this. Is basically what I'm saying. Issue title. Yeah, and honestly, if I'm already going down that path, I should be able to also give the day of the week. These might actually be the same thing. I'm doing this in Ruby, so I'll have to look to see if they're like how that's done. It's been a long time since I did worked with dates in Ruby. I know in JavaScript, like obviously I'd use a Moment or the watered down versions of Moment that have come out since to do that full date. And when I say I'm doing that in Ruby, variables in Markdown is legitimately a Ruby app, or not a Ruby app. It's Ruby code. So that's how this works.
It's gonna be hard to do. It doesn't matter. Because what happens?
Yeah. So this is like my one Ruby file, and I'm taking some updating I need to do in this file anyway. But yeah, I am using OctaKit. I'm using a project I created called Marky Markdown, which takes a transformer to transform the body of the issue and then basically take those variables and represent themselves. But it sounds like what I need to do is create some default variables, which is the day and the time, and then also take into account the issue title. So right now I'm only looking at the body. So This would be fun, actually, because I already know the context of this project. It would be fun to check that out and do this on the stream. But for now, I only have 10 minutes, so because I have to go right to the store and stand in line, and I don't think I'm gonna get to that now. But I think I'm gonna save this for a future stream because I know if I don't do it for the stream, I'll probably have it done by then. Hopefully by Wednesday, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, so that's the hope, is whenever I open a new issue for a stream, and this is like super and like highly the snake eating his tail, is that the Ouroboros, or is it navel gazing? Like I'm streaming myself working on the project that I'm streaming, the platform that I'm streaming with, mainly because time is limited and I prefer to have have a sort of a platform to sort of put notches in my belt. I'm not even sure what I'm trying to get at, but should definitely have somebody come on here and talk to me or rubber duck with. But yeah, so yeah, this is the gist of it. The Marquee Markdown transformer. There's also like Marquee Markdown is, I think it's an overused pun. I didn't know that. I wrote this action like around Thanksgiving time, or this Ruby gem around Thanksgiving time, mainly because I never made a Ruby gem for public consumption. So yeah, I've got 42 commits. Okay, but yeah, so let's go walk through the Ruby code. Also, I didn't write Ruby in like a very long time, so I wanted another opportunity to. Oh wow, 7 months ago. So yeah, it wasn't even 7 months ago. That 4, 3, yeah, I guess October-ish, September-ish. I guess I could have just looked like right here. Yeah, it was September 10th, or around September. Why can I unzoom? No, I've done broke it. Oh, there we go. I'm wearing these gloves because it's so cold in my house right now, and it wasn't getting my pinching. All right, so yeah, basically what I wanted to share was the code that actually powers Marquee Markdown and the transformer class. I had too much fun writing this. I think I wrote this on a Saturday night, and I was just sort of like in a mood where I already wrote the code to make this work, but I was renaming all the variables to make it funny. And as you can tell, like 7 months ago, it was funny then. I'm not sure if it's funny now. But I'm just doing a lot of manipulation to the string and the context of the data. It's probably not the best, but I will say it is tested. I do have test here. So if it isn't the best, I will find out because I have some test. So yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. How interesting is it me writing Ruby code in front of other people? I know people still write Ruby, but I'm so far removed from the community, I'm not sure who's out there. But that would be fun to write some test to check for generic variables. Well, I want to write tests to, I guess the way I would approach this is I don't want to write tests in Marquee Markdown per se. Oh, I do. What I want to do is basically say, here are some variables that are not represented in the context of your issue template. Like these should just be given. I guess what am I trying to say? The established environment variables, the default variables. Yes. But yeah, that's what I want to say. So basically, here are the default variables for Marquee Markdown. So things like issue title and date and time and day of the week or whatever it is that I'm going to do. I want to be default in the project because I think it won't break the way the code works, but it'll just enhance it. And then what am I at? I've got releases for this. 1.0. So I guess adding that extra feature will just be 1.1, I guess, in Simver world. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you are watching this either now or after the fact, but I think I'm going to go with that. So I guess I'll go ahead and sum up because I only have 5 minutes, and I am going to finish this thought here. I already forgot what this was. Time. Actually, this won't be replaced by marking markdown. You know, now that I think about it, this date itself won't either. So these will actually stay as things that I have to manually input because I'm not going to infer if I'm creating an issue for the next day, the issue, like I need to actually create these schedules in advance. So these will actually be manually inputted. Yeah. But what I do want to, the only thing I'm going to be grabbing is the issue number. And then the structure of the issue number topic handle, when that's created, I want that to be listed right here. So I guess all this for, again, I probably overcomplicated the explanation because I just realized I got too zealous on my approach and getting to write code that all I need to do is actually just change this. Because when I send out a tweet, I want to be able to just say live now with whatever. And the actual tweet would be Mutualfunlive. Yeah. So the example for today would be Mutualfunlive 009, the OneBlog. Yeah, the OneBlog of Mutualfunlive. That's again, not a fan of repeating myself, but I just did it again. Also, I think it'd be fun to have a exclamation point here too as well. So let me do that for no reason at all, other than because. All right, so next time I deploy that, we'll have a exclamation point. Yeah, and it seems like Mutualfunlive is live. All right, sweet. Yeah, I don't know what else. At this point, I would really love if you have a comment. I've been posting. I need to go back and clean this up. I've been posting the after the fact, the video itself. Let me see. Yeah, so the video itself I'll post probably in the header. I was putting it as a comment, but not necessary. If I do come stumped with stuff, the structure I've been doing so far is go back to the issue and let people know updates, communicate as well. So here's me posting the image that should be clickable, but at the moment it's not. But basically, it's the image of the video that will take you to the actual video itself. And then from there, I had some examples of what I got stuck on. So when I was working on the GitHub action, I wrote up a little example of like my path of what I was trying to do directly from the comments of the code and stuff like that. So I'm going to be using the comments to communicate with anybody who's interested in following along with this saga. But I don't know if there's anything else I should be chatting about. Yeah, I'm also thinking having 3 zeros is probably not okay. I'll probably have to end up updating all the dates. All the issues. I'm thinking because these issues are going to go quickly, they're going to hit up 1,000 probably before the end of the summer. No, there's not even 1,000 days in a year. What am I thinking of? Oh, so actually, that may be premature. I'll keep them 3 digits. Sorry, I'm thinking in my head too much. But what I was thinking about is the fact that if I'm basing these off issue numbers, that these issue numbers will hit 1,000 eventually, but that's in 3 years. So if that is a problem, if I'm still doing this in 3 years, then I think that's fine. Oh, no, it's actually 3 times 52. Because it's not even, yeah, so I won't even hit 150 if I do this 3 times a week. So yeah, that's I'm over, what do you call it? Prematurely, what is the term I'm trying to say? Prematurely optimizing this, and I don't need to. Because I can write a script to update all the issue numbers someday, which is probably going to be super painful to do. All right, so with that being said, I need to finish my thought here because I didn't actually save. And I said Mutualfunlive. Mutualfunlive. Commit that. I'll update the other template, and then we'll be good to go. Yeah, so if you're watching, please follow. I guess follow the repo is probably the best place to sort of get all the information. If you're into chatting, the best place to chat is probably Twitch. That's where the community's grown the fastest. 24 followers over there. Numbers are not as important as more of a context. Where like YouTube, I won't pay attention to comments as much unless people start chatting there. But Twitch has by far been the place where everybody's been chatting. Sorry, I just realized a whole other thing. Variables and Markdown is going to be overkill. Only because I'm no longer putting the tweet in the issue. So I did all that for nothing. Oh well. This is me sort of figuring this out live on the air. Because what I'm getting at is this issue title is never going to be repeated in here. So in the event that I actually do need to have a sample tweet here, it doesn't really make sense to have a sample tweet after the fact, which is why I spent all this time optimizing the issue templates. Because what I'm getting at is this Mutualfunlive. It'll be mutualfun.live, which I can start using now because the URL is working. I'll figure out the DNS thing eventually. Oh, you know what it is? I think it's because the DNS. Oh, everything's pointing to the URL itself. So I need to update everything on OneGraph and all that stuff because it's all pointing to the Netlify URL, and that's why the SSL is not working. Okay. This is not the first time I've discovered, as I'm trying to get off the stream, I'm discovering the issues I'm sort of struggling with. So what I'm getting at is that Mutualfunlive should be domain management. Oh, so yeah. Looks like this is working fine. Okay. But the only other thing is the OneGraph is going to need this. So OneGraph knows about the Netlify site, but it doesn't know about this in regards to cores. There we go. So now that works. OneGraph is not going to complain anymore. And then the other thing is the honestly, I'm not even sure if it matters. Let's see, Mutualfunlive. It seems to be working. So why? Oh, look at that. It's all good. It's all green. And then the domain itself, also the certificate's good. So yeah, everything should be good. The only other thing, I guess my question, if I renew, oh, okay. Yeah, so it looks like the name, it might take 24 hours for that to be fixed, is what I was reading there. All right, so thanks for coming along for the ride. I will not be working on variables and Markdown on the next stream, mainly because I just realized I don't even need it. And if you missed that, or if you were following along and like super confused on why I was jumping around, it's mainly because my template itself no longer it doesn't need the issue title repeated as a topic. I'm not even full-time date. Yeah, because the issue title is going to be already here. So I don't need the issue title again down here. So there's absolutely no reason for me to do variables in Markdown. So with that being said, some things I'll probably do is actually, I don't even need this at all. So what I'll do is I'll probably focus on working with Razzle and try to figure that out in that template. I'm going to replace this, my face, because I don't need my face on every single one of these posts, with a generic image to sort of like showcase what the topic is going to be about. And I probably won't even replace that. I'll just throw it in the actual Markdown copy, because I can, in an issue, I can drag and use the GitHub CDN to leverage that. So yeah, so I say all that. I would love for everybody to give me a star on Mutualfunlive. It helps me just know who's interacting and who's quote unquote part of the community. I am curious if down the road probably have a Discord or something like that for us to pop into and chat. But for now, I am looking for guests. So if you are interested in chatting, if you are actually I'm in transition. If you are interested in chatting with me, maybe showing me something, I am open to having you on Fridays. Looks like Friday at 2:30 or 9 a.m. I'm trying to stay flexible with the schedule, depending on your I guess your location, your time zone is what I'm getting at. So this might be interchangeable. I also need to figure out Q&A and how to take questions. At the moment, I don't expect many questions to come through, but I'm happy to take questions. And I think maybe I'll use like a Twitter hashtag to populate those. So maybe if I figure out the Razzle thing, the next thing I'll probably work on is how to leverage a hashtag to get questions to populate somewhere on the site, which will be a fun project to work on. So I say all that, and I appreciate you hanging out with me and listening to the smooth jams of my playlist. If you are interested in that playlist, at the end of I do have the Spotify playlist listed here. In the event I do actually change it up, I will change up that link. But for now, I've got like 200 songs that I just can go ahead and go through that are license free. So I think we'll just continue to chill with these jams. All right. And one other thing is this has been Mutual Fun, which is my outro that I'll have to rewrite one day because it's not written that way. It needs to be written like a phrase. All right.